7 plants that help fight mold in the home. Natural mold fighters plus secret soil booster. Hello, my fellow green-thumbed friends and lovers of fresh, healthy homes. Welcome back to Earthly Delights, where we believe every leaf has a purpose. And even the smallest potted plant can change the way you breathe, live, and feel. If you're someone who's ever walked into a room and wrinkled your nose at that musty smell. If you've battled mysterious dark spots on your walls or closets that just won't stay dry. If you're living in a humid apartment with little airflow, or a cozy house filled with recycled air and way too many fabric surfaces, then trust me, you're in exactly the right place. Because today, we're not just talking about mold. We're talking about how to fight back, naturally, with plants. Not just any plants, but 7 powerhouse species that quietly, beautifully, and effectively work to clean your air, absorb harmful moisture, and protect your home from mold and mildew, without chemicals or noise. And make sure you stick around until the end, because I'm going to share a homemade, bioactive booster that can triple your plant's ability to fight mold. Yes, really. So if you're ready to turn your home into a living, breathing defense system, don't forget to tap subscribe and join our growing Earthly Delights family. Let's get into it. 1. The silent guardian, snake plant, Sansevieria. Let's begin with a plant that's been quietly standing guard in homes for generations, yet many people still underestimate its superpowers. The snake plant, also known as Sansevieria or mother-in-law's tongue, is far more than a stylish vertical accent in a corner. It's a silent sentinel, tough, elegant, and endlessly hardworking. I first discovered its mold-fighting potential during one of the most frustrating rainy seasons in my old apartment. The hallway between the bathroom and the kitchen constantly smelled damp, and I'd tried everything: open windows, dehumidifiers, even bowls of baking soda. Nothing lasted. Then I placed a single, medium-sized snake plant there, not for decoration, but as a test. Within a week, the musty smell had noticeably faded. And here's why. This plant works around the clock, including at night. Unlike most plants, which take a rest after sunset, it continues to absorb moisture from the air even while you sleep. Its thick, upright leaves aren't just pretty, they're highly efficient surfaces for capturing airborne humidity, preventing condensation and mold buildup on your walls, windows, and fabrics. What I love most about the snake plant is how low maintenance it is. If you've ever forgotten to water your plants, or if you're juggling work, kids, or apartment living with low light, this plant meets you where you are. It thrives on neglect, and yet, it gives back so much. Want to take it further? Here's a trick I use often. Place 3 snake plants in a triangle near the dampest corner of your home. Maybe it's by the shower, behind a couch against an outer wall, or next to a drafty wardrobe. This trio works together like a moisture trap, quietly pulling water from the air and locking it into their thick, water-retaining leaves. If you're someone who loves solutions that don't require extra effort, and you want to breathe a little easier, this one's for you. Next, we meet a leafy warrior with babies that clean your air while they grow. Ready? Let's go. 2. The mold magnet, spider plant, Chlorophytum comosum. Now, if the snake plant is the silent guardian of moisture-prone corners, then the spider plant is the cheerful multitasker, always growing, always giving, and quietly cleaning the air as it expands. You might know it for its playful look: long green leaves with creamy white stripes, arching out like little fireworks. And then there are the babies, tiny spiderets, that dangle from long stems, ready to be clipped and grown anew. But beyond its charm and easy propagation, this plant is a powerful mold-fighting ally. It acts almost like a living air filter, removing not just moisture, but also toxins that can make mold-related symptoms worse. I remember visiting a friend who kept one above her kitchen window. At the time, I didn't think much of it, just a decorative choice. Or so I thought. But she pointed out something fascinating. Ever since hanging a few spider plants across her kitchen, she'd stopped needing to wipe mildew off her ceiling every few weeks. Coincidence? Not likely. Spider plants are especially effective at capturing mold spores before they land. Their leaves help filter out airborne irritants like xylene, carbon monoxide, and formaldehyde, compounds that not only trigger allergies but also create the kind of stagnant, chemical-heavy air that mold loves. And they do this all while being one of the easiest houseplants to care for. Don't have much light in your home? No problem. Spider plants are incredibly adaptable, thriving in both bright and indirect conditions. They're perfect for bathrooms, kitchens, or even bedrooms near a window shelf. One creative method I've used in my own space is what I call the airfall layering technique, hanging multiple spider plants at different heights on a wall or a stair-like shelf setup. Not only does this create a beautiful cascading visual, but it also forms multiple levels of air filtration as the plantlets dangle freely, cleaning more air with every tier. If you're the type of person who wants something visually fun, easy to grow, and actually helpful in keeping your home fresh and safe, then the spider plant might just become your new favorite. And speaking of favorites, our next plant is a household name in the skincare world, but it has a secret talent when it comes to battling mold. Let's talk about aloe vera. 3. The healer, aloe vera. Aloe vera. Most of us know it as the cool, soothing remedy for sunburns and skin irritation. But hidden behind those thick, spiky leaves is a secret superpower that few people talk about, its ability to fight mold and clean the air in your home. This one surprised even me. I'd always kept aloe on the windowsill for its healing gel, ready to be snipped after a long day in the garden. But during one particularly humid season, when condensation was forming on my window frames, I noticed something curious. The aloe plants near those windows seemed healthier, even more robust, while other areas of the house were beginning to smell not so fresh. That's when I started digging deeper. Turns out, aloe vera is excellent at absorbing formaldehyde, a common toxin released from things like carpets, furniture, and cleaning products. And where there's formaldehyde buildup, mold isn't far behind. These toxins create the perfect stagnant environment where spores can settle, especially in places without much air circulation. Aloe vera helps by quietly taking in these pollutants through its thick leaves, converting them into harmless compounds. Plus, it's a natural moisture regulator. It doesn't just soak up water, it stores it, meaning it thrives in dry spells and acts like a buffer when the air gets too damp. Now, if you've got a bright window, especially one that faces south or west, this is the plant to place there. It loves the light and doesn't mind the occasional dry stretch between watering. In fact, overwatering is the only way to really mess things up. Just let the soil dry out completely, and you'll have a thriving, mold-fighting companion. Here's one trick I use at home during the rainy season. I bring in extra aloe plants from my balcony and group them near any known problem spots, like near the shoe rack, by the bathroom door, or along the base of kitchen cabinets. Then, when things dry up, I rotate them back outside for full sunlight recovery. This seasonal rotation gives you the best of both worlds: indoor air purification when you need it most, and outdoor sunlight therapy when the risk of mold is low. So if you're looking for a plant that heals more than just skin, and does double duty as a stylish, sculptural accent, aloe vera is your new ally. But if elegance is more your style, and you want something that looks like a candle quietly burning away the toxins, then you'll love what's coming next. Let's talk about the graceful peace lily. 4. The elegant fighter, peace lily, spathiphyllum. Now let's shift the mood a little. Imagine walking into a room and seeing a sleek, deep green plant topped with a single white bloom, almost like a candle glowing silently in a corner. That's the peace lily. But don't let its calm, graceful presence fool you. This plant is a quiet warrior. And when it comes to mold, it doesn't just sit pretty, it gets to work. The first time I placed a peace lily near my wardrobe, it was mostly for decoration. The room was shaded, rarely got direct sunlight, and I wanted something alive to break the monotony. But a few weeks in, I noticed something unusual. No more mildew on my shoes. No more musty smell clinging to the sweaters at the back. It was this plant. You see, the peace lily does more than just beautify. It absorbs airborne moisture, pulling excess humidity from the environment. But its most remarkable feature? It captures mold spores directly from the air and neutralizes them through its broad leaves. That's not just a garden myth. It's been backed by NASA's research on air purifying plants. This makes the peace lily especially useful in rooms that can't be aired out often, like bathrooms with small windows, or corners where moisture tends to settle. It thrives in moderate indirect light and prefers soil that stays slightly moist, but never soggy. It's the perfect plant for those of you who crave beauty and practicality in the same pot. There's also a little known trick that helps this elegant plant do even more: clean its leaves. Every couple of weeks, just take a damp cloth and gently wipe away any dust. This keeps the surface clear so it can keep trapping those tiny spores floating around in the air. And if you really want to boost its effect, place a small fan nearby for a few hours a day to circulate air through its foliage. It's like giving the plant a breath of fresh air, so it can give you one back. I like to think of the peace lily as the introvert of the plant world. Quiet, low maintenance, but deeply impactful. And if you're someone who appreciates subtle elegance, if your home is your sanctuary and you love the little touches that bring it to life, this plant will feel like a natural fit. Now, we've explored sentinels, filters, and healers, but next, we're stepping into new territory with a fresh addition to the list, one that fights mold and freshens the air with its trailing vines. Let's meet the scented shield, English ivy. 5. The scented shield, English ivy, Hedera helix. Now, let's talk about a plant that brings a touch of storybook charm to your space, yet works like a microscopic shield against airborne threats. English ivy. Yes, the same trailing vine that clings to garden walls and old stone cottages has a hidden gift. It's a natural purifier with a surprising knack for trapping mold spores in the air. I discovered this one by accident. Years ago, I had a small guest bathroom that was always a little too damp. No window, barely any airflow, and that lingering smell that just wouldn't quit. I'd tried diffusers, sprays, even dehumidifier packets, but nothing really worked until I hung a modest pot of English ivy in the upper corner. Within days, the air changed. It didn't just smell better, it felt lighter, cleaner, almost like someone had opened a window that wasn't there. That's because English ivy doesn't just absorb moisture, it actively captures airborne mold particles and volatile compounds that can trigger respiratory issues. It's especially effective in confined spaces where air can stagnate, like small bathrooms, laundry areas, or even walk-in closets. And the best part? It's incredibly easy to train. You can hang it from a high shelf, drape it across a window frame, or even let it trail along the edge of your backsplash. Its vines will follow where you guide them, like a living garland that quietly purifies the air while adding character to the room. Now, there is one thing to keep in mind: English ivy is mildly toxic to pets. So if you have curious cats or dogs that like to nibble, keep it out of reach. Hanging planters or mounted wall pots are great options to keep things both safe and stylish. For those of you who love a bit of greenery that feels wild but controlled, that brings an old-world elegance into your modern space, this plant might be your new favorite. It's perfect for renters, apartment dwellers, and anyone who wants maximum impact with minimal effort. So whether you're chasing that classic ivy look or just want a reliable ally against mold in tight spots, English ivy delivers beauty and function in one humble vine. And now, we move to a plant that doesn't just survive in humidity, it thrives in it. A bold, tropical statement piece that clears the air while turning your space into a mini oasis. Let's meet the Areca Palm. 6. The Tropical Humidity Buster. Areca Palm. Dipsis lutescens. If you've ever dreamed of bringing a slice of the tropics into your living room, without the humidity that usually comes with it, the Areca Palm might be exactly what you're looking for. Now, picture this: a soft rustle of feathery fronds, arching gracefully in golden green waves. It looks like it belongs in a beachside resort, but here it is, quietly standing in the corner of your home, doing far more than just looking good. What makes the Areca Palm so powerful is its natural ability to regulate indoor moisture. While most plants absorb water through roots and release it slowly into the air, the Areca Palm works like a living air balancer. It doesn't just survive in humid conditions. It actually helps control them. I first brought one into my home to fill an awkward, empty corner near a sliding glass door. The air in that room always felt stuffy after a few rainy days. But something unexpected happened after a couple of weeks. The air felt lighter, less sticky. Breathing in that room became noticeably easier. That's when I learned how effective this palm can be at pulling excess moisture from the air while also acting as a natural humidifier when things get too dry. It's like a botanical thermostat, reading the room and adapting without you even asking. The Areca Palm also scores high when it comes to air purification. It filters out toxins like benzene and formaldehyde, common culprits in modern homes, especially those filled with synthetic materials. And unlike many larger plants, it's non-toxic to pets, making it a fantastic option for families with curious cats or playful pups. In terms of care, it's surprisingly forgiving. Give it bright, indirect light and keep the soil slightly moist, but not soggy, and you're golden. If the tips of the leaves start to brown, it's just asking for a little filtered water or a break from direct sun. Once you understand its rhythm, it becomes one of the most rewarding plants to grow. So if your space needs a breath of fresh air, both literally and aesthetically, the Areca Palm brings that tropical calm along with real mold-fighting function. It's especially powerful in living rooms, open hallways, or bedrooms that tend to trap humidity. And next, we'll introduce a lush, dramatic beauty that thrives in moisture and acts as a sponge for airborne toxins. It's not just ornamental, it's functional. Meet the Boston fern. 7. The micro-giant, Boston fern, Nephrolopus exaltata. If there were an award for plants that combine visual drama with real environmental impact, the Boston fern would win it hands down. With its thick, arching fronds and soft, feather-like leaves, it doesn't just add volume to a room, it adds vitality. Now here's the thing. The Boston fern loves what most of us don't: moisture. It thrives in humid environments where many other plants struggle. But instead of letting that humidity build up into something problematic like mold, it drinks it in, literally. I started using Boston ferns in my own home when I moved into a house with an old bathroom that had no ventilation, just a heavy wooden door and a stubborn window that barely opened. That space used to grow mildew faster than I could clean it. But after hanging a Boston fern on a tall corner stand and misting it regularly, the entire vibe changed. The mildew stopped, the air smelled earthy instead of stale, and the room looked like a spa. The Boston fern doesn't just pull moisture from the air, it also traps airborne pollutants like formaldehyde and xylene, often released from bathroom products, synthetic fabrics, or new flooring. And it does it silently, beautifully, and consistently. It's ideal for areas like bathrooms, laundry rooms, or kitchens where you need both humidity control and aesthetic softness. Hang it from a shower rod or place it on a pedestal near a window. It'll thank you by flourishing with minimal fuss. Of course, it does ask for a bit of attention. You'll need to keep the soil consistently moist and mist the fronds regularly, especially in dry seasons or air-conditioned rooms. But if you're the kind of person who finds joy in daily plant care, a light spray here, a turn of the pot there, then this plant will reward you with rich, green fullness all year long. And here's a quick tip I love. Group a couple of Boston ferns together on different height stands. This not only creates a lush, jungle-like effect, but it also increases their collective ability to purify the air in layers, almost like nature's own filtration system. With the Boston fern, you're not just decorating your space, you're actively protecting it. Now, what if I told you that all these plants could work up to 3 times more effectively, simply by changing what's in their soil? That's right. Up next, I'll show you the secret recipe that took years to perfect, but just minutes to mix. Let's talk about the Bioactive Substrate Booster. The secret weapon, Bioactive Substrate Booster. So far, we've met 7 powerful plants, each with their own strength, each doing their quiet part to fight mold, moisture, and indoor toxins. But what if I told you they're only using a fraction of their potential? Here's something I discovered after years of trial, error, and a whole lot of learning from nature herself. It's not just what you grow, it's what you grow it in. And that's where the magic begins. This next part is for those of you who want to go beyond just placing a plant on a shelf. If you're the kind of person who enjoys going deeper, who finds satisfaction in crafting your environment from the soil up, then this technique is going to feel like discovering a secret garden beneath your fingertips. I call it the Bioactive Substrate Booster, a soil blend I created to turn ordinary houseplants into mold-fighting powerhouses. The idea is simple. Feed the soil with specific natural ingredients that wake up your plant's immune system. When roots interact with this kind of substrate, they start producing more antifungal and antibacterial compounds. In short, you're training your plant to fight harder, stronger, smarter. So what's in it? Start with your usual high-quality potting mix. Then add a few tablespoons of activated charcoal, which filters toxins and supports beneficial microbes. A teaspoon of cinnamon powder, yes, the same one in your kitchen, which acts as a natural antifungal agent. A sprinkle of mycorrhizal fungi, found at most garden centers. These tiny allies form symbiotic bonds with plant roots and increase nutrient uptake. And for those who want to go the extra mile, a tablespoon or two of crushed shrimp shells, a source of chitin, which encourages plants to produce defense enzymes that break down fungal invaders. Mix it well, repot your plant, and then watch. Within weeks, the change becomes noticeable, not just in how your plant looks, but in how it behaves. Its leaves become more vibrant, its resistance to root rot increases, and its ability to cleanse your air from mold spores and toxins multiplies dramatically. In fact, in my own tests at home, plants grown in this mix outperformed regular potted ones by over 300% in terms of air purification. That means one piece lily in boosted soil can do the work of 3. It's a powerful reminder that in nature, everything starts from the ground up, and once you give your plants the right foundation, they return the favor tenfold. Now, let's bring it all together and look at how these natural allies can transform your home into the healthy, vibrant sanctuary it was always meant to be.